Today I'm going to share with you my Dire Maul Libram farming method that I've been using to farm thousands of gold in the last few days. Wrath Classic will be coming soon, and with it achievements will be added to the game once again. There are some people who are crazy about achievements, and the most dedicated among them will be farming for an achievement that grants the title The Insane. This achievement requires Chandralar rep to be exalted, and that rep is gained from turning in one of 3 Librams that drops inside of Dire Maul. These Librams are unique, meaning that you can only carry one of each at a time. This makes them extremely valuable to farm and sell to those who want to farm this achievement, as they can stack them in their mailbox and then they can just run back and forth and turn them all in. If you're farming the Insane title yourself here, then you can even use this method to save yourself some money. We're going to be farming Dire Maul West in this video, as I've had some really good luck with Libram farming in there, and it's an easy enough farm to manage. It's not too difficult. At this point though, I should mention that this farm is probably pretty bad for Alliance, as it requires the use of a mailbox in a Hearthstone, and the closest Alliance mailbox is on an island on the far side of Fralis. So if you're an Alliance character and you want to try this out, then go ahead, give it a shot. It's probably not the most efficient farm for you, but it still can be done. Just go ahead, keep on watching till the end anyways. This farm is also extremely dependent on Libram prices on your server. Make sure before you try this, you check the prices on the auction house to make sure that this is going to be worth it for you. On my server, these Librams are currently selling between 150 and 200 gold each, and that means we have the potential to make over 600 gold per run on a good day if we get super lucky. Just make sure you check the auction house before you try it. Otherwise, you might end up with some Librams that you can't sell or that are worth nothing. So just check it out before you do it. Awesome. Okay, so you are Horde and you have decided to try this farm out. You need to make sure that you have a way to get out of the dungeon to a mailbox really quickly so that you can mail the Librams off so that you can loot some more. You're going to need to set your hearth to Camp Mojachi, as this is our closest mailbox to the dungeon. And once you've done that, we're just going to need to use a macro to hearth out whenever our Hearthstone is on cooldown. I'll leave the macro that I use in the description of this video. Also, while you're down there, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so I can get to 10,000 by the end of the year. Thank you. So now your Hearthstone should be set. You have checked the prices on your server and you are ready to go into Dire Maul and start farming. Let me show you what I'm doing. First thing that you want to do when you zone in is run around and aggro all of the treants. There are 9 packs of treants in this first room that you want to grab. You'll want to try and path them around to avoid pulling the protectors, as those have a very annoying root and a knockback, and we're just going to pull them all at once anyways by attacking the boss. So just try and keep the treants away from the protectors the best you can. If you get 1 or 2, it's not really a big deal. You just might have to sit through a couple of roots or get knocked into the air a few times. Make sure you turn to the side so you can still avoid attacks from the treants. They don't really do too much damage, but when you start getting a lot of them, they can start to wear you down if they're hitting you in the back. I also like to use rocket boots, which is a nice little use to get distance from the mobs. If you don't have rocket boots, don't worry, they're not required to do this farm, but if you do have them, then I recommend you use them, as they can provide a little bit of safety. Once you grab all of the treant packs, you can run towards the boss and use this ledge around his room to juggle the mobs for however long you like. If this side doesn't work for you, then the other side of the room works as well. You can also just run into the boss's room the normal way and hop onto the ramp on the left or the right side. Either way, whenever you're ready, just pop a Blessing of Freedom and aggro the boss. This will pull all of the protectors in the previous room, and your Blessing of Freedom allows you to get into a corner without being rooted and teleported by the boss. You'll need to wait in the corner for all the protectors to come down from the previous room. I'm using around 85% avoidance, so I can sit here basically all day and never die. Once the protectors have all come down, you can pop all your cooldowns and kill these mobs. As you can see from my first pull, I already got a Libram, which means I've already made at least 150 gold in this run. Not too bad for 5 minutes of work. Now that the first pull is down, we're going to pull the rest of the mobs in this boss room and then all the mobs on the second floor. I used to pull all the ghosts as well, but after many runs, I decided that I'd rather just save 5 minutes on each run by skipping them. Overall, I'm able to do more runs this way, and I don't really notice a reduction in my Libram drops. If you want to kill the ghosts, you can, but it takes a little bit of time and they're really annoying to deal with. I only recommend that you kill them if you've done the other 2 pulls already and you still haven't gotten any Librams. We start our second pull with this last pack of undead in the boss's room. I pull them with a rank 1 exorcism to get some range on them. In this pull, we'll also be pulling a boss up top with an annoying ability that has a chance to stun. For this reason, I recommend you either spec into stoicism or have a stun resist meta gem in your helmet. We're also going to be using bubble to remove the stun if we get unlucky. I use the macro to target the boss and kill her first during the kill phase, which I will also put in the video description. We'll be using rank 1 exorcisms throughout this pull to pull a lot of these mobs up here up top, as they're all mostly undead. When I first get onto the roof, I try to pull the mobs I don't want to have to grab later. Just follow the path I use and this should be pretty easy to do. At any point in time when you're on this roof, you can also use this ledge along the middle to get some distance from the mobs. When you're on the ledge, the mobs will be evading and stop chasing you. You can use this to your advantage. Just make sure you don't stay on the ledge for too long or the mobs will reset. You should also bring some mana pots here, as a number of these mobs will mana burn you, which can be really annoying if you're unlucky with the resist RNG. The boss coming up has an absolutely massive aggro radius. You'll definitely pull her when you go for the mobs on this side of the room. She's easy enough to nuke down with our macro, but just remember she has a chance to stun you. The bear companion she has will also charge you anytime that it's far away. This is just another annoying ability that makes this part of the run a little bit harder. What I usually do is Hammer of Justice the bear and rocket boots the rest of the pull, but if you don't have rocket boots, just keep the bear close to you so you don't get stunned by his charge. When we have all the mobs, we're going to jump back down into the lower area here. We have to quickly get in position and get ready to nuke this boss down with our macro. You shouldn't use Bop here unless you're low HP already. We want to try and keep our bubble available for bad stun RNG on the boss. The best kill spot I found for this pull is the first corner right after the ghosts. What I like to do is stand close to the corner so that the ranged mobs will melee me instead of casting at a distance. This also helps for the boss, as she is a ranged attacker and will instead get into melee range for me to hit her. Try to remember to keep up Judgment of Wisdom to keep your mana up through some of the mana burns. I like to use Seal of Righteousness and my boss targeting macro to kill her before I get bad stun RNG. In this pull, I actually didn't have stoicism or a stun resist meta gem, and I got stunned right away. Luckily, I was paying attention to my debuffs and I was able to bubble it off. Make sure you don't just zone out during this kill phase, as you can and will get stunned here and it can kill you very fast. I will also say this again, that you should bring mana pots to this farm. Mana burn can ruin your pull if you get stuck at 0 mana with no Seal of Wisdom up. If you want, you can even run Shadow Resist Aura and wear a couple of Shadow Resistance items here to reduce the mana burns, but I think that's a little bit overkill and I've never had to do that. In this run, I got extremely lucky and got one of each Libram type. This means from this 10-minute run, I made at least 450 gold, not counting all the stuff I got to vendor. This definitely doesn't happen that often, and most runs you end up with just one Libram. Sometimes you will not loot a Libram at all, and you'll just have to run out and reset and go again. Either way, when your run is over and you have a Libram in your bags, you should Hearth or use the macro in the description to Hearth back to camp. You can repair and mail your Libram to an alt so that you can continue farming. Overall, this is the most gold I've ever made with any sort of solo farm. Depending on drops, you could make anywhere between 600 and 1200 gold in just 1 hour. Remember also that this farm is auction house dependent and should not be used as a raw gold farm. Also, the prices you're seeing are from my personal experience, my server, and my auction house. Make sure you do your research before you try this. Next, I plan on doing a Dire Maul East farm, as there is a back entrance close to town that should remove our need to change our heart to Feralis, and the Librams also drop inside of there. If this video helped you out and you want to see more gold farms, including the Dire Maul East farm in the future, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.